Cambridge Breakfast with Julian Clover.
Cambridge Radio.
Almost 2,000 people have backed a petition calling for what its organiser describes as a more balanced approach to transport, planning and development in Cambridge. Wayne Nightingale was born and brought up in our city and says his campaign isn't about opposing change, but ensuring that the people who live and work here have a meaningful say in how Cambridge develops. Wayne has joined us in Gwyder Street now. Morning, Wayne.
Morning.
Thanks for coming in. You've lived in Cambridge for more than 60 years. I think you told me you were born here on Mill Road in the
Correct,
old
I was born here. Yeah.
in the old hospital there.
And Romsey Town is the area which I was brought up in.
Gosh, so you haven't really stepped. It's like my lollipop lady in Norfolk back in the day. She never left the village. You've lived here for more than 60 years, but what is it now that makes you think, yeah, we need to change a few things, and got you to start that petition?
It was probably about 20 years ago, really, when things sort of were going down, shops closing. But it was, I guess, in the last 15 years, it's really just driving down certain roads of Cambridge, shops and retailers just keep disappearing from the face of the actual roads, basically. We had a good selection of shops here, and they just keep being transformed into laboratories and offices.
And Mill Road often gets mentioned in these sort of conversations, but are there other areas of Cambridge where you've seen change?
Well, the city centre has changed dramatically. I think you have the stores, you have the arcade, which is, I wouldn't say affordable areas, but this has changed a lot. But they've managed to keep the main city going. And the market square itself is totally declined. I believe so anyway. There used to be some really good stores over there, but they just seem to drift away as well. And as we're now looking at the Grafton Centre's already gone, and I don't believe that's all to do with online shopping. I think a lot of it's to do with the leasing and the rents, what have been asked to be paid. And we're also looking at the decline or the disappearance of the Beehive Centre, which it's an affordable place for many of us, and it is heavily used. And to see this go is just pushing other people away from Cambridge, shopping in other areas. We're keeping other towns surviving where we should be keeping our own town surviving.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was we did a piece. I think I walked to do a piece on the Beehive Centre, and what it was facing as I walked through. I could hardly see an empty car parking space, and it's kind of like, well, if this is failing and they need to. And they need to change it. Why are so many people still coming here?
Yeah, I mean, this is a heavily used place, and to lose this, I mean, they say they're not going to lose it. They're saying they're going to push a lot of the shops over to the other side. But, you're going to lose all these car parking spaces, which brings people into town to park. Excuse me. There's not many parking places in Cambridge. There's no incentive to bring people to park in Cambridge. The prices are quite high. So the Beehive Centre is heavily needed by the public. It's an affordable place for us all to go to. To lose that is... we've seen places like the B&Q, and we've got B&Q, but we used to have other DIY stores, and suddenly now they've gone left the town, and you can't go to places like Screwfix or Tool Station where. Places like Wickes, what we used to have. When you go shopping for there, you have ideas. You walk around, you see things. You probably spend more because your ideas start rolling in your head. But you can't do that with places like Tool Station and Screwfix. Everything's done on a booklet. And
I guess there's a balance. It's trying to work out how much here has been caused by Cambridge and those running it, and how much might be down to national government and just trends. Clearly, online shopping has had some effect, but maybe the question for us in Cambridge is how much then we've exacerbated it ourselves through what you describe.
Well, you've only got to look at the news this morning, and already Andy Burnham is telling everybody that, there's a decline in our stores. There's a decline. The people are beginning not to recognise the places where they were brought up in. And we should encourage more to be done for the local people, and that's not being done in Cambridge.
You've also talked about a balanced approach to transport. What do you put? How do you put that in practical terms? You're a driver, I think, for what you do as the day job. So I'm wondering, are there particular schemes or decisions where the balance has been got wrong?
Well, I believe that some of the let me get this. I'm not against cyclists at all. The cyclists, they'll do where they'll go where they're put, basically. And when they do these new schemes like shutting down particular roads, using these bollards to narrow off 2 lanes into 1 lane, it's just causing mayhem. Closing Mill Road for me is a big mistake, but people object against that. But to me, it is, you're cutting off a lifeline to the town, which should be bustling, really.
It's interesting because if you look at the consultation which took place ahead of, I think, the most recent restrictions on Mill Road, generally speaking, if you lived in or around Mill Road, you are happy with the restrictions, unless, of course, you're a trader. But you're somebody who lives around Mill Road, and you have a completely different perspective.
Well, to be honest with you, I very rarely go down Mill Road. My work takes me out of town, so I just go.
So once you're out, and it's not
yeah. I mean, my work is working in other towns, London, or going to airports and things like that. So, but for the people that I speak to around Mill Road, they tell me, and that basically it's ruined their jobs and stuff. And it also, in peak times of traffic and stuff, Cambridge is struggling around the town of Mill Road, where that could be used as a relief road or something. There is a better way to work this travelling business.
It's one of those intriguing things as to when, for example, not that long ago, there was the issue on East Road, I think it was, and that had to be closed. I think it was some emergency gas works which were taking place, and you'd think the logical thing to do would be to open up Mill Road, if only for a fortnight. That's
exactly.
And that doesn't seem to happen.
Yes, I mean, you could have the best of both worlds down Mill Road. You could have it open up for like traders and during sort of peak times, and closing it maybe, I don't know, later in the evenings or in the afternoons, just for cyclists and people just want to walk by. Then you can open your stores for cafes and restaurants and things like that. It'd probably be, that could work for both of us.
That's an interesting, not necessarily the all or nothing approach that seems to have gone through now, but time slicing it, for want of a better description. So you could maybe at the peak hours where people needed it, you could open it up, and then maybe over the evenings there could be more restrictions, where this cafe culture, which is so often talked about but never seems to materialise, could happen.
Yeah, I think, if you look at, today or this month, since because of the school holidays and that, it's quiet anyway.
Traffic always, see on our travel bulletins here, completely changes the moment the schools go out.
But, the rest of Cambridge is strangled. It's around Newmarket Road, Perm Road, Brooks Road, Cherrington Road, and yet, cyclists and just buses and taxis are just allowed to go down Mill Road itself. It's crazy taking the traffic away from Cambridge doesn't get rid of the traffic.
No.
It just puts it in other areas.
One of our engineers, Rob, and this is possibly one for another day when he would be here to explain his system himself, thinks that it should be one way. That's he has a route perfectly mapped out, which he thinks, whilst it would cause some inconvenience, it would get people moving. They'd go through, and they'd stop and use the shops from time to time.
I'm not sure whether. What do you mean, Mill Road as one?
Yeah, Mill Road.
That's a possibility, I guess. So that's something to look at. But I personally believe that it worked before. The traffic went up there 2 ways. It worked before. The shops were open. There was, I think it's a particular people or particular group this is pointed for. I can't be 100% sure, but it's always seems to, let's see what emphasises on cleaner air, bicycles and things like that. Yeah, which everybody wants to save the world, but we're not going to do it alone in Cambridge. And Cambridge is not like London. We can't work the same as London. We pay the same prices as London, but we don't get. I mean, in London, you've got so much more variety. I mean, I can get my fuel cheaper in London than I can in Cambridge. There's such a big difference.
I think St Neots is the place to go, according to my wife, who want to cheap petrol in Bletchley. Organisations like the Greater Cambridge Partnership, they're responsible for a lot of the traffic schemes. They have to go through the county council ultimately, but do they consult enough on what they do before they do that?
They say they do. I don't believe they do. I think that because it's run by the Lib Dems, basically, it's almost...
Who we voted for, well, not necessarily me, but Cambridge as a whole has voted for. Yeah, but I argue
that if everybody knew what the GCP actually stood for or stood as a party on their own, I don't believe for 1 minute they'll be in power. But they've given this power, and they hold all the purse strings at the moment. And I think that the council are probably too afraid to not take any notice of their influence.
The councils do send members. It's predominantly it is people from the city council and the county council and South Cams. I think they'll get a seat as well. But
the 3 million people, I believe, are Lib Dems, and I'm not pointing a finger at the Cambridge, Great Cambridge. It's from what I see around the town, such as work like Adams Road and what's happening with all the changes on the roads and that. It seems to emphasise on one particular group.
Now, your petition has gone. It's nudging 2,000 signatures. Has it closed now and off to the relevant people?
It's still open.
Okay.
It's done on change.org. It's done on change.org because when I looked at the council petition, you cannot get, because my petition is on about a wider aspects of Cambridge, you cannot get on the Cambridge petition and do it by there. There's too many drop boxes, there's too many pages to turn over, and all the people that sign these, they can see on chat.org that things are being mentioned. People can relate to each other. This is just the local people of Cambridge. Unfortunately, the council petition is very hard for people to actually get onto. They don't have that sort of time, but it's still going, and I will continue it. And I'm also sent it off to the Cambridge GCP, South Cambridgeshire, Cambridge Council, and the City Council. Cambridgeshire. Yeah. So I've sent it to all councils. Basically.
Okay. Well, look, we'll keep an eye on, and do let us know if you get an official response or a debate, even perhaps in one of the many council meetings.
I will, but as I said, it's very hard to talk to them. But they've got to take notice of the number on this petition. They were saying about petitions, like the petition about this guy, has been in trouble. The police thing, which is already in the news this morning about this policeman in prison.
Oh yes, yeah.
So the change.org was used heavily in that, and and Andy Burnham's had to take a look at that, and he's taking notice of that. So if he can take notice of that and change his system or change his thinking, then the Cambridge City Councils can definitely take a look at this and see what the local people are really talking about, what is really the concerns.
Well, Wayne, hopefully you've managed to get your voice across this morning. The occasional councillor has been known to listen to this programme, so hopefully they're listening this morning.
I'm not against councillors, they're there to do the job. I just think that there should be more openness and they should involve the people more often.
Okay, Wayne, thanks very much.
Thank you.
And so, Wayne Nightingale, it's 9:24 now.